man. Oh shit, it is. Look at that.
We are all aware that our beloved Batman has many foes, because when you're trying to be good and just, there will always be people who will try and stop you. Today, we're not going to talk about Batman. Instead, we will talk about one of his most notable adversaries, the Penguin. And for the people in the back, no, we're not talking about a bird. We will dive into the character of the Penguin along with his family tree. So, if you've ever been curious as to what makes a human snap and become a very dangerous crime lord, and also if you've ever wondered what kind of a family you need to be born into to go down the severe of a downward spiral, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Whoa! Take it easy, sweetheart.
Penguin, of course. First, getting into the family, let's introduce Penguin himself. Although, if you're here, you probably already know enough, but this is for the people in the back, okay? Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin, is a greedy and ruthless businessman and crime lord. His craving for power is big, but his dedication to the enemies to lovers trope with Batman is bigger. So, his villain origin story started when he was born. A birth defect gave him a beak-like nose. It startled his father to the point where he dropped his child moments after his birth. Of course, this is exactly what fathers do with their children. It's completely normal. This was the moment when his father started hating him for the way he looked. He got bullied in school, growing up, and people started comparing him to a penguin. This made him develop a fascination with birds. The only person that he cared about was his mom, who loved him and showed him compassion. It was in the beginning, but slowly, it turned into a weird obsession. When his brothers went too far and attacked his pet birds, something in the boy snapped. He then strategically murdered all his bullies over the years. He grew up to become a crime lord and weapon smuggler. His powers, well, he was possessed by an ancient demon that transformed him into a golden horned penguin. The demon was exorcised out of him and he returned to normal. But while he was possessed, he could absorb and devour human ki, had claws, fangs, super durability, and super strength. His abilities are animal training. Like, you know, he literally trained his pet birds to attack on command as a child. He has a great business-oriented mind, as he has managed to keep his casino completely legal, so that he can set up a front and launder money from all the illegal businesses that he has. He's trained for using his weapons. He's the leader of the strongest gangs in the Gotham City. He is multilingual and a genius. He has tried to get involved in politics many times and has also launched costly election campaigns. He has many strong connections with other criminal kingpins in Gotham, which allows him to hire their assassins or, workers to spy on them. He is skilled in fencing, judo, ninjutsu, and bare-knuckle fighting, which plays to his advantage when dealing with enemies that are larger in size than him. His persona has an avian theme, coming from his fascination with birds. There is a lesser-known fact about the Penguin, which makes him a fan favorite. So, Penguin has been made to mock public figures in power. He has been made in their likeness and is a personification of everything gone wrong in the high society. He is a master manipulator and has a pathological, deep-seated rage, especially when it comes to Batman. He's not afraid to fight dirty, because he's eager to do so if all else fails. Now, let's talk about other people in his family tree. Theodore Cobblepot, his great-grandfather. Theodore Cobblepot is the great-grandfather of Oswald Cobblepot. He was the mayor of Gotham City in the last decades of the 19th century. He also came from a rich family that made their money in steel. Tucker Cobblepot, his father. Tucker Cobblepot is Esther Cobblepot's husband and father of Oswald. He comes from one of the powerful, influential, and wealthy families of Gotham. As we had already discussed, he was horrified at the sight of his son's birth defect and dropped him moments after he was born, which set his son on the course of becoming one of the most dangerous villains in Gotham City. In Earth 1 and New Earth continuity, he got caught up in a heavy rainstorm and died from pneumonia shortly after. Also, he is an original character for Batman Returns, as he is not identified in most of the comics. Esther Cobblepot, his mother. Esther Cobblepot was the overprotective mother of Oswald Cobblepot. She was the only person who showed Oswald love and compassion. As she grew old, she suffered from catatonia, and Oswald took care of her until the day she died. Penny Cobblepot, his wife. Penny was the wife of Penguin. The only introduction given about her was by one of Penguin's henchmen, telling him that she had been killed and dumped outside of his nightclub. Lisa St. Clair, his ex-wife. Lisa was described as the only woman Oswald Cobblepot feared. She's a beautiful but spoiled socialite who makes poor romantic decisions and choices, Oswald being one of them. She later became a gangster in Vegas. She was shown to be someone who was just as adept in the game of crime and empire building as Penguin himself. We eventually see that when Lisa and Oswald meet again and she invites him to her casino, it was a trap, because she had found out about the attack that Penguin had planned and flipped one of Oswald's team to her side. Penguin was shot thrice in the abdomen by Lisa. Ethan Cobblepot, his son. He's the son of Oswald and one of his waitresses. Ethan founded his own tech firm called Vicfor, following his father, funding his way through college. He was targeted by his half-siblings Aiden and Addison after the Penguin presumably died and was beaten to a vegetative state. He was a hacker and a data analyst and had advanced hand-to-hand combat skills as he had undergone rigorous physical training. He also had a scarred face after he suffered from electrical burns after his vector suit shorted out. Jason Cobblepot, William Cobblepot, and Robert Cobblepot, his brothers. They were Oswald's brothers who severely bullied him. After they crossed a line and Oswald couldn't take it anymore, he killed them and made it look like an accident. Jason died of poisoning, Robert died in an accident which left him at the bottom of a lake that was frozen, and William died in a hit and run. Addison Cobblepot and Aiden Cobblepot, his daughter and son. They were Oswald's children, and after his presumed death, they tried to kill their siblings to inherit everything they could. However, their plan failed, and they only managed to inherit the Iceberg Lounge and related holding. Conclusion. As you may have noticed, there isn't much loyalty to blood or family in the Cobblepot family. Yes, there might be money, but there's so much tragedy and hatred too. One of the instances that proves this is when Penguin faked his own death and fled to Metropolis, taking on a new identity. It didn't take long before Addison and Aiden emerged to inherit their father's assets. But Penguin was then ordered to go back to Gotham, and he needed to have his old territory back. And even if Oswald was the father of Addison and Aiden, they weren't going to just give up their newly found power and presence in the crime underground. Addison was particularly violent and defensive of her role. From Oswald having a troubled childhood because of his father, and brothers to his adulthood, where he wasn't close to any of his family members except his mother, it really goes to show how scarred Penguin was because of his family, which bled into his future too. The Cobblepots, in general, have not shown much loyalty to each other. Marvelous verdict. This was a rundown on everything Penguin related. And, it really makes you think about how damaging it can be for a human to be mocked for their appearance and constantly bullied because once something snaps in them, it's very hard to find a normal life interesting. Well, at least we don't have to worry about Gotham since Batman is always there to save the day, isn't he? As for the real world, let's continue to hope for a miracle, or maybe become one. Also, let us know if you'd like more videos of this sort, and if there is any particular character whose family tree is something you'd be interested in exploring. Anyway, see you later, Bats! If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone!
The world ain't set up for the honest man to succeed. That should be the American dream right there.